Om Shri Sai Ram. My most loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. And loving Sai Ram to one and all on this holy occasion of Guru Purnima. At the outset, I would like to thank Bhagwan immensely for giving me this opportunity to offer my gratitude to him on this auspicious day. I was initially reluctant to talk, but Swami knew better. He knew what is best for me today. Because an opportunity to talk is also an opportunity for me to recollect, to reminisce, and to relearn from some of the experiences of the past. Because learning doesn't happen in one shot overnight. Learning from an experience happens in layers as time passes. With time, we find more and more newer layers of meaning behind a single experience. And so was it with me. As I've been reminiscing some of the experiences from my past for the last few days. I would like to begin with an analogy of a traveler walking on a pitch dark path with no lights around. He is tired, he's exhausted, he's afraid, for he does not know where he is heading. He doesn't know if he is even on the right path. It is scary for him, and he wants to go back home. This is no strange story. This is my story, and maybe for many of us as well. And this traveler then suddenly he sees a faint stream of light coming through some branches. He goes in search of it. He's excited. He goes in search of it, and what he sees baffles him. It is a moon. Not a crescent moon, not a half moon. It's a full moon. And it is because it is only the full moon that can give us so much light that it can save us. So the traveler changes his path. He changes his direction to chase the moon. And now he can see the full moon in all its brilliance right in front of him. All his fears vanish. All his exhaustion is gone. And he knows that he is on the right path, and he knows that he will be home very soon. This is my story. And in my case, I didn't have to even go in search of the moon. The moon itself came into my sight and beckoned me to follow its path. Swami, from my longest time in my childhood, Swami was, having been born in a family of devotees, Swami was God for me. Swami was the parent. Swami was the dearest friend. Swami was a confidant who held all my secrets, my fears, even my embarrassments tightly with him. But Guru he was not for the longest time. Until the year 1999, when he planted the seed in me, the deep yearning in me to become a student. And so it happened that I applied for a seat at the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning at Anandpur campus. I had, having done my class 11 and class 12 in the commerce stream, I naturally applied for my bachelor's degree as well in the commerce stream. And I gave the test. I did the written test, and I was called for an interview. On the way to the interview as well, Bhagwan blessed me. That is something I think I'll keep it up for a separate day. And in the interview room, now I would like to focus on the interview room now. In the interview room, as a candidate for interview, I was sitting in front of the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor was sitting in front of me, the Registrar, the Controller of Examinations, and on the right was Gemma Madam, who was then Principal and Warden of Anandpur campus. The whole interview was extremely smooth and affirmative, and I knew it almost, I'd got it. But then came the last trick question from Gemma Madam. When she asked me, child, would you like to change a stream from commerce to arts? Would you like to take up Bachelor of Arts instead of Bachelors of Commerce? Bachelors in Commerce. And I knew within me, I was thinking, how is this possible? Because I knew my father would never approve of it. My extended family would not approve of it. But arts is something in a family was taken up only by, at least in their mindsets, was taken up only by those who had no other option to take up, no other stream of study, where all other streams of study had abandoned them. So I said no. With all my clarity and confidence, I told Gemma Madam, no, I wouldn't be able to take it up. If it's not for BCom, it's impossible for me. Might be impossible for me to take up a seat, even if they offered it to me. And that was the end of the interview. And I came out. Of course, I related this incident to my mother. My mother was disappointed, but we just left it to Bhagwan finally. And a day or two later, the results came out outside the walls of South Indian canteen, and I was not surprised. My name was not there on the list. We searched through the commerce list; it was not there, and we gave up hope. And suddenly, somebody else then came running to me saying my name was on the other list, and it was a surprise. It was even despite saying no to Madam, my name was on the list of the art stream, top on the list. In fact, was on the top of the list, and despite my defiance, Bhagwan knew what was better for me, and he had most graciously taken me into his fold, despite my stubbornness. And then here we were happy. Of course, we were jubilant, but at the same time we knew that our celebration was short-lived. Me and my mother, as we took the train back to Bombay, we had heated and pensive discussions over how we would convince my father about this. We knew there was no way he was going to agree to this. And finally, my mother said, let's just leave it to Bhagwan. He has given the seat, he will take care of you as well. And what do we see next? We just turned our heads towards the window, and what we saw left us dumbfounded. In the open sky before us, in the moving train, we saw the open sky. It was the sunset time, and right in front of us was a humongous cloud. It's a huge cloud, which was reflecting the sun's rays, orange rays. It had taken on an orange color from the sun. And the entire outline of the cloud was Bhagwan's hair, bushy hair, and his bust until here, and his Abhayhasta hand. As Bhagwan used, you may have seen many of the pictures of Bhagwan. We were in tears, seeing so much grace flowing to us from Bhagwan. We kept watching that outline of Swami in the sky for the longest time. And needless to say, the whole path, he took care of everything else after that. My father did not oppose. My father was absolutely okay for me to join the art stream. In fact, he came to drop me at the Anandpur campus. Now, at this point, I would like to reveal two secrets that were held fast between me and Bhagwan. Only Bhagwan knew it, and how this change of stream from commerce to arts solved many of my problems. I had, as I said, I had been doing my class 11 and class 12 in commerce stream, but nobody knew how much I hated it. It was an absolute drudgery for me. I was just not made for commerce. Though the marks wouldn't reflect that. I happened to score, quite decently, but it hardly reflected my discontentment with the subject. So by giving me a seat in the art stream, he had saved me from that. And there's another secret that only Bhagwan, even I was not aware of. All through my childhood, I had a flair for writing. I enjoyed writing, but it got, it got buried under the sands of time as academic pressures overtook. This interest in writing was just submerged, and I was not even aware of that. And by this is something I realized only many years later, that by giving me the seat in art stream, he had saved me from so many things. He has saved me from the jaws of drudgery of commerce. And not just that, he held my hand and took me on the new path. Literally held my hand and took me on the new path. He uh, he he gave me the direction. He showed me the direction, and he did, and as he wanted to bring to fruition the gifts that he had blessed me with, the gift of writing that he had blessed me with. He wanted to bring that to the forefront, and by giving me the seat in the art stream, he had ironed out so many wrinkles in my life in one shot. That the experience doesn't end here. 3 years down the line, 3 years later, I was again in another dilemma. As I was finishing my graduation, I was, for some reasons, very personal to me, I wanted to go back home. Um, I wanted to go back to Bombay to pursue a course in MBA or something else. I was not even clear of what I would be doing, but I wanted to go back to Bombay. In fact, when some of my roommates would mention my name, saying Anu, that they would tease me. They would tease me rather, that saying, Anu, you would be back for MA, right? I said, no, no way, and I would just walk out of the room so that not even the vibrations of those words would touch me. I was so vehemently against pursuing MA in Anandpur, continuing with my MA. And out of the blue, one January January night, during those 2-minute calls we used to have, we were allowed to talk to our parents. My mother told me, my mother told me, Anu, why don't you ask Swami what to do next? And I said, no way, no chance. Being an Anandpur student, there's no way that I can talk to Bhagwan directly. And even as a rule, we were not supposed to talk to Bhagwan on our own. It's only when Bhagwan talks to us that we could respond. So I said there was no chance, there was no luck with that on that front. Maybe I would rather write a letter to him and send it to him. My mother said, no, no, just try. She was quite insistent about it. And there it was. The call was cut mid-sentence as usual. And then a few weeks later, we went to Prashanti Nilayam for Shankranti celebrations. The scene is so vividly clear in my mind. It was the day after Shankranti, evening time, evening darshan. It was the last darshan just before we returned to Anandpur campus. And I happened to sit on the first row. And Aarti was over. Swami was returning to his residence in Purnachandra. He came straight out of the mandir. He turned around our block. And as he was gliding down, Swami is so gracious. He used to deliberately avoid walking on the carpet. He used to walk in between the girls and the carpet, very close to us, because he knew we were leaving. And he would make sure he smiled at us. He would pick up every letter on the way, blessing us, blessing some of us, as he walked back to his residence. And similar was that evening as well. As Bhagwan approached closer to me, something in me pushed me, beckoned me to talk to him, and on behalf of my mother, rather. And then I quickly made up the sentence I would ask. I quickly framed the question in my mind, saying, Bhagwan, shall I come back for MA here? This was the question I had framed in my head. As Bhagwan came very near to me, close to me, I raised myself up and I asked, Swami, instead of asking a question, I said, Swami, I'm coming back for MA. He pretended not to hear. He said, And I said, I repeated, Swami, I'm coming back for MA. With a mischievous smile, he looked into my eyes and he said, Chala manchidi, very happy, and moved on. I was stunned. I was shivering, in fact. I didn't know what I had said. I wanted to ask a question, and here I was. What came out of my mouth was a statement. And he had blessed that statement as well. And sitting next to me was my future MA teacher. And she, just to bring me to reality, I think she said, Congratulations, Anupama, you are the first student to be enrolled for the next MA batch. Here I was a few days, but even if 2 days earlier, if somebody had told me that I would be coming back for MA, I would have said absolutely no. And here I was 2 days later. Bhagwan had already given me a seat in his MA course. That's how he ironed out so many of my troubles with his grace, so many of my dilemmas. On the surface, it was just 2 more years of study, but I knew what it was, what it meant. Only the future would tell me what it meant actually. It was 2 more years of being in his shelter, 2 more years of basking in his love, 2 more years of being under his protection. And only I knew how much he has. He has strengthened me, he has healed me, he has educated me, not just in the worldly sense, in the spiritual sense. In those 2 years, he had, he I would say he cleared layers of dust and dirt on the soul in those next 2 years. In one shot, it was more of a spring cleaning than the weekly cleaning, of course. And 2 years later, when I stepped out of the campus, he made me ready to face the world outside. I would like to go back to that analogy I started with. The darker the night, the more the brilliance of the moon is felt. It's not on a brightly lit night that you are going to feel the brilliance of the moon. In fact, the more darker it is, the more we feel the brilliance of the moon in our life. Same what it was with me. The more the confusion, the more the darkness, the more clearly I could see Bhagwan's grace flowing on me, being showered on me. I was just thinking how something that I always take it for granted. Bhagwan had not just, of course, Atma Vidya is part of the higher education that Bhagwan gives. He had not only blessed me with the Atma Vidya, but he also, in fact, clearly planned in detail my entire worldly education. Something that my whole education journey was everything I did not plan for. It was nothing I planned for, but it was something much more grander, much more better than I could have ever planned for. And it was all because of the grace of this Guru, the grace of my Guru, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. How blessed I am. How blessed I am, because there are many in this world who spend years together just finding the goal of their life. And there are many who may have found the goal of their life. They spend many more years just looking for a guide to reach that goal. And here I am. Not only was the goal in front of me, but he also doubled up as my guide. As Bhagwan has clearly said, who a true Guru is, Swami says, only God can be the true Guru in our life. And how manifold blessed we are, because we do not need to go in search of our goal. We do not need to search for our guide. I do not want to even dwell on how sometimes the goal and the guide are also in conflict with each other. But here we are so blessed that our God and Guru are rolled into one. And the path has been laid so simple, so easy for us. And this guide, we can be sure, is the most patient guide we will ever find. Most loving, most accepting. He's going to hold our hand until we reach the goal. He's going to never give up on us. He's the most merciful one. He's an ocean of mercy. His love knows no bounds. We may stumble, we may fall, we may even get tempted, distracted on the way, but He's not going to give up on us. He's going to hold our hand and make sure we reach our goal. I would like to offer my gratitude in the form of words, for it is words only I know of. my medium of communication. Dearest Bhagwan, thank you for coming in search of me. Thank you for being my goal. Thank you for being my guide all throughout. And I know you'll never give up on me until I reach home. Until I realize that there was no duality ever, that you and I are one. Mangalam Gurudevaya, Mangalam Jnanadayine, Mangalam Parthivasaya, Mangalam Satya Saine. Jai Sai Ram.